Paul from London, and it is my pleasure to introduce our next presenter. He is Steve Kish. You may recognize his last name, but I won't tell you why you recognize it. I want you to know that part. So I notice a theme in the projects that are showing up today, and the story I make up about the theme has to do with crisis. Like there's a real gap or crisis, a real strong need in our youth. And particularly as our youth mature and grow into adulthood. If our youth are in crisis and in depth need, and there's gaps like this in their childhood, they carry it forward, and then they have to fill those gaps later. So our third presentation is about career and helping our youth and young adults move into being positively contributing to the world, and how can they do that in terms of career and setting up their own financial future, their professions. And so Steve has this wonderful project called Career Jumpstart that he's designing to help youth move into the work world. But what does that look like? What's the bigger picture? So, this is what I know about Steve. He is a big man. Nice having another big man in the room, Steve. And he is quiet. He's very powerful. And I think you're going to notice that when he comes up. So Steve, come on.
Thank you. Yeah, this is kind of weird how these ideas are all related. We didn't compare notes before. So, I don't know if the rest of you ever think about this. This is something that I think about every so often. It's probably because I'm old or I'm getting older, but I think back to how I got my start in the workforce, just as I was beginning my career and kind of coming out of school. And what's really stunning about it is that I look back and see a series of coincidences, right, or lucky breaks that I got that happened exactly in the right order, at the right time, or the right opportunity, or the right person came into my life, like right when I needed them to, in order to get my start. And my life and my career would have taken a completely different trajectory if that hadn't happened exactly the way that it did, right? And so I think back on it and kind of think of it as like lucky breaks that I got when I started. And I think about, as I moved into the workforce, the same kind of phenomenon happened, right? One of the things that was really striking to me is that the skills that you need in business or in the workforce to really be successful, you completely learn that in the workforce, right? Even though I'd gone to university and I'd got a degree, nothing that I needed to be successful, I got a base of things, but the things you really needed, I only learned once I was in the workforce, right? And I had a series of mentors that showed up that kind of helped me, but I learned the hard way, right? Trial and error, you fail at things, and then you do a course correction with a mentor. And it was all kinds of things. I mean, things from how to write, how to speak, how to attend a meeting, how to draft an agenda, how to dress, how to be a good teammate, right? How to be a contributor on a team, and kind of surrender your own ego for another goal that your organization is trying to achieve. How to be someone that other members of your company or your team want to be around, right? So you're not a pariah, but you're somebody who's viewed as valuable, right? All that stuff that you learn the hard way sort of in the workforce. And so, I roll forward to today, and I've had the opportunity to work at some very large organizations like IBM. I worked at smaller organizations like the Getty Museum, next door for a while. And I had a chance to start my own company and kind of take it through an entrepreneurial phase to a growth phase, mature phase, and now I've sold the company, right? So, and in all that time, I've literally interviewed, hired, and mentored hundreds of people. And that same set of skills that I kind of learned the hard way is almost completely lacking in the workforce. Where if people have it, they got it the same way I did. They kind of lucked into it, or they had the right sort of circumstances that got them there. And then I think about my children. They're all coming of age where they're getting ready to enter the workforce. They're just entering it, right? And I really see them struggle with this and this idea of how do I get started, right? And the thing I really wonder about them and about everybody of that same age is it going to come down to luck for them? Are they going to get the same lucky breaks that I got? So the idea behind this is, what if we took at first a small group of young people and we paired them up with people like me, right? People that wanted to mentor and help develop them. And we came up with a curriculum that had that set of business acumen skills that I called it, that employers are looking for, right? That I found so hard to find as a business owner. Got them prepared to enter the workforce and be valuable from the day that they got there, right? So that employers weren't thinking they had to develop all of those skills. And I thought, well, that's a pretty good idea, but what if we took it to the next step and actually contacted businesses and convinced them that this idea of internship and apprenticeship, which is almost entirely dead in the business world today, and especially in this kind of economic climate, those kind of programs are getting shut down. They're almost non-existent in a lot of industries. But what if we convince them that this is something that is valuable, right? And I mean, one of the lessons I learned big time as an owner of a business is that something that is vital is an injection of new people and new blood and new ideas in a business. That's where innovation comes from. And the minute you cut that off as an organization, you start to die, right? The organization atrophies without that. So what if we convinced the business community this was not a cost center or a burden for them, but it was a strategic advantage to be bringing younger people in, right? And so I thought, well, that's pretty good. That's a pretty decent kind of combination. So the basic concept would be we start small with a small group of people, maybe a couple of businesses. We build upon some successes, right? And think about the multiple wins that could happen. For the young people involved, they get a start and a decent chance to enter the workforce. Rather than just getting thrown to the wolves like what we do now, like good luck. If you get lucky, you'll be good. Otherwise, you won't. For people like me that want to give back, and people that got a lucky break, here's a way to pay that back a little bit and bring some people along. For the businesses, they get this new injection of new blood and innovative ideas into their organizations. And for the community, we can systematically build another generation of leaders in the community, rather than just the happenstance way that happens now. So that's the...